Hello everyone. Today we are going to see chapter 3 of biology, absorption by root. So this is a plant physiology chapter student. This is the first chapter student, that is the absorption by root. Okay. Now we'll proceed with the chapter student. The first thing is that the characteristic of a root, how the structure of a root is. The root are a branch part at the lower end of a plant. You will find that this is a root structure student, and you will find that there is a root air along the root. Okay, and there is a root cap. Now what is this all? Region of meristematic activity, region of elongation, region of maturation, and root air. This all are the parts of the root student. Here we are going to deal with root air because it involves in absorption of water and minerals from the soil. Now what is the function of root student? They fix the plant in the soil. They also help the plants to absorb mineral and water from the soil student. So before going to the more deeper in the chapter student, I have uploaded this notes in the given provided link. You can refer for your study material. Okay students, so this is for the ICSE board class 10th biology chapter 3, that is absorption by root. Okay students, now we will see the next part of it. What is it? Characteristic of root for absorbing. Now what is the features available in the root says that it can absorb the water and the minerals from the soil. Now the first thing is that extensive root air with rapid growth. Now what happened? The root air start growing up. Okay, as it start growing up, it will go more deeper in the soil where it lead to absorption of water from the soil. Now second part, large surface area because of the presence of root air. We know that the root air is there. As the more root air is there, so there will be many, like the large surface area will be available for absorption of root student. Now the second part, thin walls of root air, and it is freely permeable, permit the free movement of water and dissolved substances. We most of the time what happen, we find the cells are selectively permeable or semi-permeable, where it allow only specific substances which can pass through the cell. But here the root are freely freely permeable to water and dissolved substance. So it can allow water and the minerals from the soil to pass through the soil to the plant. Now high concentrated solution root air vacuole salt are dissolved. Now what happened? It is completely high concentrated solution, which means in root air the salts are dissolved in it. Therefore root hair cells have high concentration cell sap than the surrounding. It helps in osmosis. Now what is they are telling is that in the root hair it has the high concentration of salt. Now as it is high concentration of salt, there will be less concentration of water molecules, and because of that only there is a process called osmosis. What is this osmosis is? It is a movement of water from higher region, from higher concentration of water to the lower region of water student. But here in the root it is the salt high concentration. They are not talking about water. Obviously outside the root hair the water concentration is high. So because of that only the movement will happen from higher to lower. So from the soil the water will goes to the root hair and it will go to the xylem. Now we'll see the next one. This is the magnified structure of the root air. Now we'll see the next one, process involved in absorption. What are the process involved in absorption student? The first process is imbibition. Now what is imbibition is? It is a special phenomena by which water or any other liquid is adsorbed. They are not telling about absorption. It is adsorbed. Adsorbed means it is a absorption only on the surface. You will find that, like for example, chalk is there. You are allowing the chalk to absorb water or anything, any ink. You will find that the absorption is taking place on the outer surface rather than inside the chalk. Okay, the solid particles which imbibe water. What is imbibe water means? The water is adsorbed on the surface or any other liquid are called as imbibants. Now while the liquid which is imbibed is called as imbibate. Okay, now pressure developed by solid particles which adsorb water when submerged is called as imbition pressure. Obviously the water is absorbing on the outer surface of the particular substance or particular solid particle. Because of that, what happened, the pressure will be developed, and that particular pressure is called as imbition pressure. Okay, now we will move to the next one. What is the role or what is the significance of imbition in the root adsorption or in the plant? Okay, it helps the seed to germinate by breaking the seed coat. You everyone know what is germination. Germination is nothing but from the seed it start growing the plant. The plant start growing. But how the plant start growing? The leaves will come out from the seed. It comes as if it is bursting out from the seed. So that happens because of imbition. The seed absorbs water, and because of that it bursts, like the plant, the embryo or the tiny plant will come out of the seed. Second thing, it helps in the movement of water from cell to cell in the plant body. Obviously the water movement happens, but this water movement is happening because of imbition. It is dominant in the stage of water absorption by root. Now it is dominate in the stage of water absorption. Obviously the imbition, first initially it will surround the root air. After that only the absorption of water will take place. So first water molecule should be absorbed on the root air. It helps in ascent of sap through root hairs. Obviously absorption is taking place, so because of that absorption of water will happen, it will go inside the root. So that is the ascent of sap. Ascent of sap is nothing but we will deal in the later in the chapter. Okay, now diffusion, very important and interesting topic. It is a movement of molecules or the ions from the region of their concentration to the region of their lower concentration. Now diffusion is nothing but it is a movement of molecules or ions from the higher to lower concentration. It can be anything, student. Diffusion can be any liquid or any gas. It can happen in liquid also, it can happen in gas. It is only basic thing is that the movement happens from higher concentration to the lower concentration. And diffusion is a physical process, passive transport. It is a physical process, it happens naturally. Passive transport, there is no expenditure of energy. There is no external energy or any force should be provided to proceed this reaction. Whereas diffusion is a natural process, so it doesn't need any external force. Because of that, it is a slow process. The diffusing particles in a medium exert a pressure which is proportional to their concentration. If the concentration is varying or there is a difference in concentration, then only this process happen. So as this process happens, the pressure is developed. This pressure is called as diffusion pressure. Okay, students. Now we will see osmosis. What are osmosis? Osmosis is defined as the movement of water. Basically, it is a type of diffusion, student, where specifically water molecules are involved. Water molecules are from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. They are not talking about the salt or the solute concentration. They are talking about solvent. What are solvent over here? Water molecules. We know that water is a universal solvent. They are talking about solvents. You have to be very clear when you define the definition. Now osmosis is of two types, endoosmosis, then exosmosis. Now what is endoosmosis is? Now first we'll see exosmosis. It is the outward movement of water molecule through the semi-permeable when medium surrounding the cell is more concentrated. When the medium is surrounding is more concentrated, means it has high concentration. So what happen? Outward movement. Outward movement means the water will go out of the cell. So that particular condition is called as exosmosis. Now why exosmosis? Hypertonic means it is high concentration. Whereas endoosmosis, it is the inward movement of water molecule through the semi-permeable when the surrounding is less concentrated. Less concentration means it has less concentrated. Okay, inward movement means the water will be going inside through the semi-permeable. This particular condition is hypertonic. This can be clearly understood when you actually proceed with the reactions, like proceed with the chapter. Now osmotic pressure. Now what is osmotic pressure is? It is the pressure developed side solution. Okay, I'll tell one simple example, student. Here in a particular U-tube, that U-tube is not, this is a U-tube instrument where the liquid is allowed to pour in that, we will observe the pressure developed. Now first we took this H2O, that is water. In the second case we added solute. Solute they took as it is a glucose thing, and they have added solute. Now what happened, one side is a solution. What is solution? Solution is a mixture of solvent and solute. So one side is a solution, other side is a water. Now there will be some pressure developed in between. That pressure is called as osmotic pressure. Now what is this osmotic pressure is? It is applied to the solution side. It is applied to the solution side such that it will stop the fluid movement. Why it is stopping? Because there is a concentration difference among the two sides. One is a water, other side is a solution. Obviously the water side has a higher concentration of water. Here it is a lower concentration of water. Because of that, the movement of water molecules happen. But the osmotic pressure is the pressure which is developed on the side of solution, where it will stop the fluid movement or the water movement. So that is called as osmotic pressure. Okay students, now we will see the next part. Reverse osmosis. What is reverse osmosis? It is opposite of osmosis. Usually what happen, it start from higher concentration to lower concentration. But here it is opposite. It is going to happen from lower concentration to higher concentration. But this is happening because of some external condition or some pressure is developed. We have to apply some pressure to the solution side such that here this is a salt solution. So they are applying pressure to the salt side. Because of that, the water from the salt solution will be going into the normal fresh water. This usually used in the application of extraction of pure water from the sea water. Where there is no availability of pure water, right? We use this process, student. Okay. Now we will see the next one, tonicity. Now then, this is not a process, student. Tonicity, it is a condition of the environment. What are the environment? Because of that environment will the process of the osmosis or diffusion will happen or it will differ. So we have the three type of tonicity. What is it? It is hypertonic, isotonic, hypertonic. This I can easily explain with the help of the diagram, student. Okay, now how the diagram is, see. Isotonic is the condition where inside the cell the concentration, outside the cell concentration is same in terms of solute or in terms of solvent. Both the side it is same. So because of that, there is no movement of molecules or there is no movement of particles, water particles. So because of that, this particular condition is called as isotonic condition or isotonic solution. Second case, it is a hypertonic. What is hypertonic is where can you see inside the cell you will have 20% of solute, 80% of water. So higher concentration of water is inside the cell, whereas in outer side it is only 40% of solute concentration, 60% is solvent concentration. Because of that, what happened? The water molecules will come out of the cell and the cell will shrink. Okay, the cell will shrink. Whereas hypotonic means the cell will have lower concentration of water compared to the outer region. So because of that, from the medium, the water will be going inside the cell, which will lead to swelling of the cell. So this condition is called as hypertonic solution. Okay students, so this is the three types of solution based on the tonicity. This is all definition of hypotonic, isotonic and hypertonic. Okay, now we'll see about the significance of osmosis. What happens? What is the significance? It helps in the maintenance of cell turgidity. What is cell turgidity? Is basically the structure of the cell and the pressure developed in the cell. Now it plays a vital role in stomatal movement during the transpiration. This transpiration is nothing but it is a loss of water, and this is developed because of osmosis. This all we'll be studying in the next chapter, student. Just remember that it helps in stomatal movement. It helps in the movement of liquid across the biological membrane. Absorption of water from the soil by root air is due to osmosis. This is from the soil. The root air will absorb water. It is because of osmosis. Why osmosis? Because there is a concentration difference among the root air as well as in the soil. It regulates the opening and the closing of stomata. Closing and opening of the stomata, osmosis plays a major role. It plays a key role in the growth of radicle and plumule during the germination of seed. You will have a question mark that where this radicle and plumule is the initial stage of the growth of root and plant from the seed. Okay, so it is a tiny part which is developed from the seed, which will in future it lead to formation of root and plant. Radicle will give rise to root, plumule will give rise to shoot or the plant. Now we'll see the next one, that is turgidity. Turgidity, it is a condition of cell which it becomes bulged out due to the entry of water by endosmosis. Now turgidity is basically when the cell goes in, the water goes into the cell, because of that it gets bulged out or it gets swell, and that particular condition or that particular cell we call it as turgid. And we have because the water is going inside, so the pressure will be developed. So the pressure which is exerted by the protoplasm or the cytoplasm towards the cell wall is called as Turgor pressure. Whereas wall pressure, the cell wall will be opposite, pressure will be applied, that is a cell wall pressure, that is the wall pressure, student. Now this is the diagrammatic representation of turgid cell and the placid cell. Turgid cell, when the cell enters into the cell, water enters into the cell, whereas a placid cell where the water is lost from the cell, because of that it shrinks. So that condition is called as placid cell. Okay, now placidity. Now it is a condition in which cell loses water from its cytoplasm due to exosmosis. What is exosmosis? In this, the cell will allow the water to go out of the cell, and because of that what happened, it will shrink. That particular cell is called placid cell. Now what is plasmolysis and deplasmolysis? Plasmolysis is nothing but it is a process where the water comes out of the cell. Plasmidity, this all are the condition, this is the state. Whereas plasmolysis, it is the process at which the water moves out of the cell because of the hypertonic solution. What is it? When it is placed in hypertonic solution, student, it goes out of the cell. Now due to plasmolysis, plant cell loses its original appearance. Obviously when the cell shrink, they will lose their structure. This will look flaccid in appearances. Now deplasmolysis, it is opposite of plasmolysis. For example, I am taking a raisin or the dried grapes. When you place it in the water, what happen? Over a time it swell. And that particular, like we have to bring the reverse of plasmolysis, means the water will be going inside the cell, which will lead to a original position. When it was initially, it was in the original position, right? Same structure will be obtained. So that is a deplasmolysis. Now the next one, this all we studied, what are the processes involved in the plant. Now we are going to see absorption of water and minerals in plant. In plants, a complex movement of material takes place. Now obviously water movement, mineral movement, food movement, everything happens. Okay, the water taken by the root, the absorbed minerals and the food manufactured. We know that the leaves makes the food in plant. So this all should be distributed. How it is distributed? If it is a short transport, means if it is moving to a particular small distance, that is carried by diffusion and osmosis process. When it is for long distance, it is accompanied or it is done by a special vascular tissue, that is xylem and phloem. And xylem and phloem, it is present in the stem and the root. Now what is xylem and phloem? Xylem is responsible for the transport of water and minerals from the root, whereas the phloem is a translocation of food which is synthesized by the leaves. And this is the structure of xylem and phloem in monocot as well as in dicot. We know monocot and dicot is a two different plant, so you will have a variation among the arrangement of phloem and xylem structures. Okay, now we will see the next one, types of absorption. What is types of absorption is active transport or passive transport. We have two type of transport. One is active transport, other one is passive transport. Active transport is basically from lower to higher concentration. This is against the concentration. Usually what happen, it is from higher to lower, right? But here it is against the concentration. So because of that, there is some external force or there is an external energy should be supplied, and here the energy is expended in the form of ATP molecules, whereas here energy is not required. Okay students, so that is a passive, that is from higher to lower concentration. Example, you can take diffusion and osmosis. This all are passive transport. Okay, Now we will see the next one, ascent of sap. Ascent of sap means from the root to all the parts of the plant. That is the ascent of sap. Now this is basically for the transport of water and the minerals. And how this is passed from root air, then cortex cell, then endodermis, then passage cell, then xylem vessel. This is the movement of water molecule along with the minerals from root to the upper parts of the plant. Okay. Now we'll see, this is the diagrammatic presentation. See, from the soil the osmosis process happens. Then from that capillary means it is like a column, water column is created in the stem. Because of that there is a rise of water along the stem, then it moves to the leaves. So this is the diagrammatic representation of the movement of water and minerals. Now, what are the factors, student? We will not go very deep here. Very simple. First one is root pressure. Because of the movement of water into the root air, because of that, it will develop the root pressure. Second, as the pressure is developed, so it will allow the water to move. It will allow the water to move upward direction. Whereas capillary action is basically developed because of the narrow diameter. Narrow means it should be like a column wise cells, and because it happens in the stem, students, it will allow the water to rise to reach particular distance, especially for the leaves. Now third one is addition of water. Addition of water means, we know what is addition is basically the water is adhesive. It is a molecule. There is a special property of water. It will stick to the walls of the cell wall. Okay, cell wall of xylem vessels or walls of xylem vessels, and because of that it is sticking to the xylem vessel. Because of that it will start absorbing, student, or it will be start pulling the water towards a particular distance. The transpirational pull, we know what is transpiration. Transpiration is nothing but it is a process in which the water is lost through the leaves. Because of that, as the water is losing, so there will be a negative potential. Negative means there will be a negative potential will be developed in the leaves. Because of that, it start pulling the water towards themselves, and because of that it will create a pull from the root or from the stem, and it will go reach to the leaves. So this is a transpirational pull. Okay, so negative pressure is developed, and because of that the water will move upward direction. Okay, students, so this is the cohesive property. Cohesive is nothing but it is between the similar molecules, water to water. So the water is lost at the simultaneously, it will be pulling the other water molecules towards a particular distance, upward direction. Now we'll see, this is all about ascent of sap. Okay, transpiration will create transpiration full. Root pressure pushes the water to the stem, and in the stem you will find capillary actions. Then it goes to the leaves by transpiration pull. So this is the ascent of sap. Now the last part, descent of sap, is very simple. What is descent means? The food is synthesized in the leaves, and that food will be distributed among the plant. This process called translocation of food through the parts of the plant. Okay, and this is actually because of force of gravity. Obviously the food will come down or here and it will be moving. That is a translocation of food. Okay, so this is a descent of sap. This is the end of the chapter, students. I hope you all understood this concept. It is very simple, very easy, and make sure refer the notes first, then start studying, student. And please refer questions, because in bio you start practicing questions, right? You will easily come to know what type of answer should be written. Okay, students, by studying the chapter you will come to, okay, we have almost done. When we start writing the answer, it will be difficult for you all. So make sure start doing the question banks of related chapters. I hope you all understood. This is the third chapter of biology. Okay, and thanks for watching my videos, and thank you for the support, and please subscribe, students, and take care. Be safe. Bye everyone.